In this episode, I talk with Ashley Logsdon about how to travel full time. In this episode, I talk with Ashley Logsdon about how she travels with her family full time. Use that second one. Welcome back to another episode of the Online Course Coach Podcast. This is an honest, no hype or no, how some of those podcasts are just a little too slick. This is not one of them. This is an authentic podcast to help course creators build their impact and grow their income. And on this episode, I have one of my friends, Ashley Logsdon, on with me, and she is talking about how she and her family, including a fish, have been traveling full time for a few years. Now, this is kind of personal to me. I love to travel. I've been to all 50 states in the United States. I've been to 5 continents. I'm sure if I counted up, I could count how many countries I've been to. I love to travel, and not just vacation travel, but really getting in to a culture. In fact, I actually met my wife in Africa doing some teaching, training, AIDS relief, missions work, things like that. So that is a pretty cool story that could be for another day. But I've been to, lots of different countries. I love to travel. There are amazing people anywhere you go. And it really opens up your eyes to maybe how much you have, how much stuff you have, how much you're blessed, especially if you live in America, but you could say the same thing in many other countries. And it just opens your eyes to the possibilities of what's out there. And so Ashley has been doing that for a few years, and she talks not just about her course. We get into that at the end there, but we talk about some of the fun things she's gone through, some of the challenges, some of the logistics and things like that. And we have a really fun conversation. But hey, right before we jump into that, I just want to touch on the 2 things. I know I've been talking about it the last couple shows, but several of you have reached out and thanked me for this. So the 2 things I want to highlight are the group coaching that's going to be starting here in the next few weeks. I already have several people that have signed up and interested and ready to go, but I do have a few more spots available. So if you want to get together with other motivated course creators so you can go through my proven process of how to create a course, and even ask questions. This is not a recorded course that you go through. This is a live discussion with me and other course creators we go through each week. We have a private Facebook group with existing members and previous members, and a bunch of other fun stuff. I give you my proven path on not just how to create a course, but how to set up the technical aspects, how to market it, even how to build your influence and your email list before you have a course even created. So if you don't have a course at all, this is perfect for you because the other people that have already signed up are in the same boat. So you can learn more about that. Go to onlinecoursecoach.com/group coaching to learn more about that. Or you can go up in the menu, there's a coaching and courses tab, and you can select the group coaching. Or if you want one-on-one coaching, that's fine too. But that group coaching, man, that's a lot of fun. We did that a few months ago and just had a blast. I'm still talking with some of the members about what they're doing, and it has been a lot of fun seeing their progress. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is the masterclass that is coming up every single month. I've noticed a lot of people, the course creation, that's its own animal, right? Creating the course, how to do the technology piece, how to create an effective course, how to do all that. But a lot of people struggle with the marketing, with growing their email list, with creating revenue streams around their courses, even how to outsource most of the course creation process. So I'm going to be going in depth through all of those topics. So you can learn more about that at onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass, or it's in the navigation there on the website. But you can learn more. Every month we're going to be going in depth on a live live video call, I'll be showing you exactly an in-depth process. This is not like one of those, free, cheapy webinar things where, they just kind of tell you the why, but not the how or not the details. No, this is it. Like, this is the meat. This is the content. So you can go and sign up for each one of those. I will say this, the price is a lot cheaper live versus when I'll be posting the replay, because I really want you there live. I want you asking questions. I want you getting involved, and I want that feedback of your thoughts, because we'll be going through things about course marketing mastery. We have 40 plus ways to sell your course before you create it, while you create it, and after create it. I'll be talking another month about 30 creative ways you can grow your email list. The next month, I'll be talking about 30 creative ways to grow your email list. And I'll be giving some pretty fun, pretty interesting ways to grow that. Many of which you probably haven't even thought about before. In March, I'll be talking about rapid revenue streams, how you can create 20 additional revenue streams around your online courses to explode your income. So I realize a course is not your only source of income, right? It better not be. You should have other sources. And imagine if you could have 20 different revenue streams around that. And maybe you just pick your top 5. Even that could be a game changer in your business. And then in April, we'll be talking about how you can outsource your course. You can learn how to find talented and affordable people to help you create your course faster and cheaper than you thought possible. We'll be using the strategies that I gave one of the people in my group coaching, where honestly, she was overwhelmed. She had to create a new website. She had to create her course. She had to do all of this stuff. And I showed her exactly how to find somebody that's highly skilled and very affordable. And, some of the prices she was giving were amazing. And it got her up and running in no time at all. That can range between $3 an hour, $25 an hour. You could pay even more, or you could pay a lot less. And so we talk about how to outsource almost every aspect of your course. In fact, I'll even share some of the templates and the systems that I use to find highly skilled workers. And that's really been how I've been able to leverage my business, grow my business, serve more people, and be more effective. And so, things like I have an editor for this podcast, an amazing editor who does a good job. And I have a show notes writer who, again, does an amazing job. And, they help me and I help them as I pay them for that. And so it's been a really good trade-off. So again, go to onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass to check out the upcoming master classes. All right, well, let's jump right into the show. Like I said at the beginning, Ashley is one of my friends. I've known her for a few years, her and her husband, and they're an amazing family. And we talk about this, they're creative, they're problem solvers. They don't just talk about, hey, do we want to do this or that? They talk about and solutions. How could we do both? Or what's the best solution? It's not just A or B. Maybe it's A, B, C, D, E, and F. And what are the best that her and her family want to do? I think that's a really valuable skill because it's so easy to get caught in that A or B mentality, right? This or that. But if we can think of and solutions, it really opens up the possibilities. Well, a brief bio about Ashley is she takes families from surviving to thriving by helping them uncover how the uniqueness in each of us strengthens all of us. She guides parents through identifying their strengths and also their triggers to live with intention and not simply reaction to the chaos of an ever-growing family. Through her podcast, blogging, coaching, and personality snapshots, she provides tools and action steps to aid families in creating a life they love to come home to. Ashley and her husband, and Mama Says Namaste podcast co-host, 3 unschooling daughters and dog and a fish, are RVing the States full-time. They focus on authenticity, awareness, and embracing love in the present moment. So Ashley, thanks so much for being on the Online Course Coach podcast today. Fantastic. Phew. Glad I did that.
It sounds like you're in my head now. Oh. Yeah, there's a big difference in mic.
Awesome. All right, so take two. Here we go.
Yes.
All right, well, Ashley, thanks so much for being on the Online Course Coach podcast today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on and a pleasure to talk with an old friend that I have known for a while now.
Yeah, I was thinking we go back, several years and have had, different conversations. But my first question is, where are you today and how long have you been there?
I am currently in Sarasota, Florida. And after 2 full years on the road and exploring 48 states so far, this is our third winter in Florida. And now we're enjoying the process of going back to those places that we really do love and spending an extended amount of time. So this area, the Venice, Sarasota area, we absolutely love. And it's nice and warm too. It's 76 degrees right now, which is wonderful. So we're enjoying spending a month in this area and kind of bouncing around at the different state parks and visiting some of our favorite haunts around here.
Now, for some people, they might think that wow, somebody travels full time. I've never heard of that or whatever. It's very foreign to them. But why, or what were some of the reasons you decided to travel full time?
Well, we've always dreamed of travel, and so often we have these bucket list items, these things that we want to do one day. And unfortunately, oftentimes one day doesn't happen. And we tell people often now, when it will always remain one day until you put a date on it. And a few years ago, as we were testing out the travel waters, realizing how much we loved it, that kind of came to fruition, that when are we going to put a date on this? When are we going to make this happen? And so we did. We put a date on it, and we decided we're going to do it now because we have seen people in our lives who have, muscled through things, hoping that one day they're going to get to it. And by the time one day happens, their relationships are severed, their health has declined, or they just flat out don't even know how to enjoy it anymore. And so we wanted to make sure that here we are with 3 small children. We wanted to make sure that we created the opportunity for us to have our one day now and to have those times to connect and to play and to be together and be present in the moment and not just wait hoping that, we'll eventually get it. There are no rollover minutes in life. So we wanted to make sure that we squeezed those minutes in and found joy and fun and present moment connection and togetherness on a daily basis. And this type of lifestyle is what fit for us and what afforded us the opportunity to really be active and in a hands-on environment to make sure that it happens for us.
I love that. I love that there's no rollover minutes in life. That's pretty good. So what opportunities has opened up because you're traveling so much? I think sometimes it's easy to look at, the travel is fun, but then people think, well, real life, won't I miss my house or won't I miss this or my job or that? What has been a benefit or maybe an unforeseen thing that you've gained because of this experience?
Oh man. Well, it's kind of there. If you're training to be a doctor and you're going to school for being a surgeon, I don't want a surgeon who simply just read a textbook. It's really critical that he's had that hands-on experience. He or she has had the hands-on experience before they're actually addressing it. Well, we really feel like when it comes to education with our children, we wanted to look at life beyond a textbook and really create those hands-on opportunities. And so as we've gone out there, we're the field trip gypsies on Instagram. So we go around and our life is one constant field trip. And what we've found is going out there and actually living in it and seeing the different territories, the different environments, even in our own country, and the different cultures in our own country, and being able to dive into that and explore that with the kids. It's been incredible, the insights that they have gotten, the awareness and the self-awareness and the social skills that they have gotten with interacting with people all across the country. And little things like the fact that I don't force my kids to memorize anything, yet all three of them, from 11, 9, and 6, they all can recite every single state in order of where we've traveled, not because it was forced on them, but because it's so ingrained in their head because they lived it. They've had that hands-on experience. So it's opened up a lot of opportunities for us to kind of dive in and interact in a hands-on way and be able to connect with people across the country. When I'm working with people, I can say, hey, I happen to be in this town and there's an Acton Academy here. Well, I work closely with Acton Academy and the parents there, so it gives me an opportunity to go and to visit them hands-on because I'm right there anyway. So it's really opened up a lot more. And I was actually on a virtual summit right before this, and I was talking about how the beauty of this lifestyle is that it kind of takes the positive of social media, because I'm able to connect with full-time travelers who are all across the U.S., which is where we're focused on right now. I've had the opportunity to connect with these full-time travelers virtually in order to then meet up in real life. And so I've taken my virtual life and I've created more and more opportunities for us to engage in person as well. So as we travel, we say, hey, we're in Sarasota right now. Who else is here? And all of a sudden we have, 5 families and 15 playmates for our children. So that's been really great. And that's always a big question is, how do we do the socialization? And I feel like we have friends all across the country now. And it's pretty incredible. And the kids have just been thriving with it.
Yeah, I love that. Now, I know that you're a very creative person and you think outside of the box in every area of life, probably. So how do you think, how have you cultivated that skill of thinking and acting creatively to find a unique and oftentimes a better solution? It's easy to kind of think small or think this or that, but how do you think bigger or more creatively?
Oh man, some of this I will completely blame on my father. My dad is Dan Miller. He's author 48 Days to the Work You Love. And he has been an entrepreneur my whole life. And I grew up with this entrepreneurial mindset. And they are lifelong learners. They really instilled a growth mindset in us. And, Dad would always say, it's not a problem. It's an opportunity for a solution. And we really kind of embrace that. And we look at what can we do with this? And how can we look? I just saw a shirt yesterday that said, forget the box, think outside. And I absolutely love that. If it wasn't a massively huge tank top, I would have bought it. But, it's kind of taking that kind of, because of growing up in that entrepreneurial world, I didn't have the red tape lifestyle. I didn't have the box and you have to do this. We looked at a variety of things. And we saw that whether it was my dad's entrepreneurial endeavors or me going to public school, private school, homeschool, group classes, all the variety of schooling that I did, and looking at things not as an either or, but an and. What can we do to make this a win-win situation? Or what can we look at that's a different opportunity? So we really look for those and opportunities. So this isn't working. How can we tweak it a little bit and shift it? And I believe that one year that was my word of the year was and. I can have my cake and eat it too. I wanted to be able to enjoy both, and that's really what we did with the lifestyle that we've got. Is I wanted to travel, and traveling doesn't mean that you shut off everything and then you can travel for a finite amount of time. We looked for that and solution of how could we afford to keep that travel, that adventure mindset, and how could we do that while still putting food on the table. And so we got those and solutions, and we got creative with it. And that was, leveraging our house and renting it out through Airbnb and short-term rentals, and working virtually, doing stuff with, as a virtual assistant, managing different companies and collaborating with other people. and all of these other ways that we are able to bring in income that helps to, pay for the party and allows us the opportunity to not only bring in the income, but then say, hey, it's almost sunset. We got to go get to the beach. We're going to go watch the sunset together.
Yeah.
And it's a blast.
Which Sarasota has some of the best sunsets
Yes,
around. I mean, my word.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about earning money and traveling. I mean, your husband obviously is with you, and you have, different things. So how have you developed that? Because for a lot of people, that might seem out of reach almost, to be in a vehicle with kids, and I don't know if you have any dogs or anything like that, but just, traveling, being out of your element and relying on, your Verizon hotspot to work or not work, whatever it is. And how do you do that?
Well, yes, we actually have. So we have three children and 3 daughters and a dog and a fish that all travel with us. So the newest addition is Poseidon, the beta fish. So before we hit the road, my husband Nathan was a real estate agent, and so we planned for this, and we had to look at what's our comfort spot that makes us feel like we could go ahead and make this work. But we didn't do this when we were swimming in debt and we had, we didn't have 2 cents to rub together. We kind of planned for this and we budgeted for this and we looked at ways that we could save before we ever left. Some of the ways that we did that is by moving to a minimalist lifestyle. We got rid of a lot of stuff, and I sold a lot of stuff, and it is amazing what things people will buy on Craigslist and now on Facebook Marketplace. And so I made money off of selling things, and we also downsized. We looked at what subscriptions can we pull back on and everything else. Now, we aren't cable TV people. We never have been, but cable TV is one of those things that people do, or you hear people say, you just cut back on your Starbucks, and we didn't eat out as much. We ate in and looked for ways to kind of save money. And so that was one way of kind of getting in that position. But then the other thing was my work has pretty much for the past 15 years, my work has been virtual. So I can do it anywhere I have an internet connection. And so what I do is I have my own company, which is Mama Says Namaste, and I'm a marriage and family coach. And so I'm working with families and helping them kind of go from chaos and reaction to living a life of intention and not waiting for one day, and also understanding those strengths so that each family member thrives and they really do create that family life that they love to come home to. So I focus in on that, and then I also help to run my father's business, where he does a lot of the same aspect on the career side of helping to find that work that you love and not just try to position your life around that work that you have to do, but to find something where you truly come alive and that work supports that. So I manage those 2 companies, and between those and then also our house, we have a what's called a sticks and bricks in the full-time world. You'll see S&B, which stands for sticks and bricks. And our sticks and bricks home has also been a wonderful asset for us. And it's not for everyone, but for us, the Airbnb thing really worked. We tested it out when we went and spent a month in Costa Rica, and we rented our house out. And for 12 days that it was rented, it paid for all of our lodging when we were in Costa Rica. And we're in position now with what we do with our house, where if we have tenants in there, it pays not only for our mortgage, but most of the time it covers our campgrounds as well. So that's been really beneficial for us and has helped to do that. And the other aspect of it is just we set a budget or not a budget, but we kind of set a non-negotiable. We don't want to drop lower than this level. So we knew that in doing this, we were taking a risk. We were leaving Nathan's 6-figure income, and we were going down to just what I was bringing in, which we hadn't done before. And so we knew that there was a little bit of insecurity in that, especially understanding personality styles. My husband was a bit more nervous about this than me, growing up in the entrepreneurial world. And so we set that amount in the bank that is our safety net. And we knew that we wanted to make sure we stayed above that. And so we always watch that and we check in on that. It doesn't mean that we have to be making millions, But it gives us a kind of a barometer to go on. As long as we're staying above this safety net, we know that we're in good shape and we can keep on doing what we're doing. And if we start to get close to that safety net, then we look at reevaluating. Do we need to do some more boondocking so we're not paying for camping? Or do we need to look at getting a different job or something else to help keep up the lifestyle that we have? Or do we go back to our house? So we're constantly checking in, constantly making sure, is this a good fit? Are we balancing the hard work that goes into doing this lifestyle with the hard play that we want to enjoy? And if that, as long as that is working well, then we're continuing to do this. And so far, we're not seeing any signs of stopping.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. And I like that you have a plan, kind of a future goal, which was to travel. And then you have some of those metrics of like, hey, we need to make X in order to keep the fun going, right? And so I think that's very important.
Right.
Since you do a lot of virtual work, phone, internet, etc., have you ever had any clients or people give pushback or like they didn't like the fact that you had such a creative or unique job or role? Did you have any clients or people that were like, oh, you do that? And they thought that was like unprofessional or something strange? Like, or has everybody been pretty open and accepting?
Everybody has been pretty open and accepting. And I have to say that this is something that, that I hear. How do you deal with the people that are the naysayers that tell you shouldn't be homeschooling your children, you shouldn't travel the States, you shouldn't do that entrepreneurial job, you shouldn't create that course? I mean, all of these different things. I mean, there are people that are going to be out there that say that, but I feel like, I also agree a little with not a little, I agree a lot with the law of attraction and this concept that, what I'm putting out there is what I'm attracting. And when I'm putting out there this confidence and this excitement about what I'm doing, it's hard for people to sit there and criticize me when what they're seeing as a reflection of my life is so joyous and is it's obviously working. And I haven't really gotten it. More than anything, I get the interest. If you want to talk about reality TV shows, I mean, my gosh, our life would be super interesting, not in the horrible fighting dramatic way, but people are really curious about alternative lifestyles. And our lifestyle is not just keeping up with the Joneses, and it's not your standard, typical American lifestyle. So I get 99% of the time, I get insane curiosity over anything else. And I've never had a client that has complained. There have been more that have been grateful that they don't have to pay extra for my overhead. They don't have to pay for a babysitter. They don't have to get out of their house in order to meet with us. All of that's pretty nice and tends to fit pretty well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I know you are very plugged into different communities, and I might not be, using the terms right, but different traveling communities and different things. So what have you seen, or what opportunities are there out there for entrepreneurs who want to travel, to either keep what they're doing or maybe transition a little bit? Like, are there some pretty cool things you've seen out there, or is it all pretty much just virtual assistants or people that are on the phone or computer? Like, what's the gamut there that you've seen?
Oh my gosh, absolutely everything. And there are tons of communities to learn more about it. RV Entrepreneur is a big community, and there's lots of digital nomad things that are out there and different people to follow that do a variety of work that's all virtual. And that is one aspect of it. So not just virtual assistant, but virtual work. So, whether that's being a virtual assistant or like I am being a coach, a lot of people that are in the tech world that are doing software development or working on servers or coding or different things like that. And there's a lot of the technical world. But then there are also a lot of people that are doing this with network marketing. They're Blue Diamond and doTERRA or Norwex or Usborne Books and all of these network marketing programs that you can get into. There are a lot of families that are traveling because of that, and then they'll travel and they'll go to different locations, and a lot of them are the top dogs in there where they're going and they're speaking, or I've got one friend who does video production for one of those organizations. On top of that, there also is service work. I mean, RV service for service person, or even something like being a hairstylist. And there are people that go and they do hair along the road, or a traveling doula or midwife. And they'll travel and they'll go to a location for an area or for a season for, to deliver a baby. And going and working seasonally at different places. I have a friend that is a traveling electrician, and he goes and he does work at a certain area. Or we have people that work at Amazon for the winter, and Amazon will set you up with your own campsite and pay for your camping. And so people will do seasonal work where they'll travel through and they'll go to different locations for manual labor jobs or for temp jobs. Traveling nurses is another big one. So, I mean, the gamut is huge. And really what we talk about, so I have a webinar that's it's how to take the ultimate road trip without going broke or crazy. And I talk about, the number one issue being I can't afford to do this. And so we talk about those creative ideas, and I share case studies with different families and how they've ended up getting on the road and what they've enjoyed about it and everything. And it's definitely one where sometimes even just thinking about what you have that's right under your nose, we don't necessarily think about. You may be working a job that is stationary, and you check in and you go to the office every single day. And they may have not actually considered this being a remote job, but that may be an opportunity to shift that. And I have lots of friends that have done that, where they just went to their existing company and said, hey, I can actually save you money by not being in the office. And on top of that, me traveling around helps with, research and development, or it helps with marketing and promoting. Or I will be your person to go to trade shows, and I'm working each trade show. I have some friends that are triathletes, and they go to trade shows based on where the triathlon is they want to run. That's awesome. And then they go and they get the work done and they get their fun in. So there are a lot of creative options, and sometimes it's as simple as even looking at what it is you are doing and, again, thinking outside of the box and seeing, is this something that you could actually make into a win-win by not showing up at work every day and taking it more remotely?
I love that. And that just shows the creative possibilities. And like we talked about earlier, the and solutions, not just I have to go to my job or I want to travel. It's like, hey, there's opportunities out there for both, or a hybrid, or something. And so that's pretty cool. So you mentioned your webinar, and I have a kind of a quick link for the audience there, so they can go to onlinecoursecoach.com/road trip webinar and sign up for that. That looks pretty cool. So let's talk about your course. So why did you decide to create your online course?
Well, I have dreamed of doing courses down the road, but I was a little bit of a novice with getting started. And I had a friend who has a company that actually creates courses. And he came to me and said, I want to do a course about RVing. And he completely admitted that for any other reason, for his own personal benefit, because he was so curious.
I love it.
And come to find out, there's a lot of people that are curious.
Yeah.
And so we decided, because of the way that this model was set up, there was no major skin in the game for us. We decided that we would go ahead and make it happen. So we shifted gears, decided, all right, our schedule has changed, and we're going to head east instead of west. We went over and we did 2 intense days of shooting to do video. They covered all the production of it. And what we came out with was a course called 90-Day Family Road Trip. And the reason we chose 90 days as opposed to how to RV full-time is because that is super overwhelming to think of dropping everything and RVing full-time. But we know that 90 days, that definitely shifts your thinking. And to do something for 90 days, it breaks old habits, it creates new habits. And we started that. We started with that when we first hit the road. We gave it 90 days. And we decided after 90 days, we would determine whether we were going to stick with it or not. And at 90 days, that's when we decided that, we're in this for the long haul. So my full-time friends joke that it's my 90-day course is the gateway drug to full-time RVing, because there are so many people that really do decide. And I say that either way, it's an incredible step to do those 90 days, because it breaks that glass ceiling of what you think is possible. If you actually go and travel for 90 days, it may not mean that you have to travel forever. But just because you were able to do that, it kind of opens the door to new opportunities, where maybe taking that epic trip to Europe and backpacking Europe for 3 weeks doesn't sound as scary anymore, because you've done this for 90 days.
Yeah.
That's so good. So the course is on the process of getting on the road and addressing it. But what I did that was beyond what a typical how to RV course is a lot of times the focus is on exactly what RV to get and how to dump the black tank. And while we address those things in the course, the goal in this course is really going back to that marriage and family. It's for families that are considering getting on the road or want to take an epic road trip. And I spend a whole module just focusing on your expectations, because you can have the best laid plans, you can have the perfect path and all of the sights to see. And if your family is not in sync with one another and you're all butting heads, it can be an absolutely miserable experience. And that's where I see the failure come in, when people have these big dreams and each person has their own expectation and agenda, and it ends up being a nightmare because nobody's clearly communicated it. So that's really what I bring into the course, is to add in those components of how to work as a team, how to be connected as a family, so that you can handle living in our situation, less than 240 square feet with a family of 5 and a dog and a fish.
And that fish probably takes up so much room, right? I mean,
I know.
Making everybody
As
crank.
long as we remember to not keep it in the travel trailer when we drive. That was the lesson learned the hard way.
Yikes.
Yes.
So talk to me about the research phase, because it's easy for a knowledge expert to want to dump, all their knowledge into a course. How did you know what to include, what to exclude, what common questions? What was the process there?
Well, the first thing that I did is I polled the audience. And when I was doing this, my audience, I did not start Mama Says Namaste with the intention of working with full-time families at all. At that point, I didn't even think that was going to be what we were doing. And so my audience wasn't all full-time travelers or wannabe full-time travelers. And so what I looked at first is collaborating with other people that had that audience. And I was connected. I mean, the big game changer for us was when we joined a free Facebook group that was called Full-Time Families. And there's about 28,000 people in that group. And I started asking questions. What are your big questions before you hit the road? And I started surveying and polling people and asking, what are the hot topics? And that's where I saw my spouse is not on board. I'm afraid of the expenses. I can't handle, I'm afraid we're going to all go crazy being in those small spaces. So I was able to kind of get what those pain points and those questions were. And so we started with the survey, and then the next thing is we wanted to make it easily digestible. And so we decided to create an acronym that would work for being able to deliver the content kind of in a succinct way. And so because we're the field trip gypsies and we kind of have the unschooling thing down pat, we kind of stuck with the school model, and we had the acronym of RECESS. Nice. And so then we address the different areas of, what is your ride? What are your expectations? Choosing your adventure? What are the expenses? Your setup, and how to find that satisfaction in the journey. So I kind of narrowed it down to there, and you are correct that I am really bad about dumping all the information. And that is something where if that is a struggle of yours, I would, or for those of you who are listening, I would encourage you to make sure that you do get feedback. Sometimes we work so obsessively on our babies that we want it to make it so perfect, and then we're kind of afraid to get that criticism. And so we pour everything into it and then get defensive and try to justify adding everything in. And sometimes less is more. And sometimes it can be more of the fact that it's that support and it's that encouragement and it's that just opening the door and allowing them to carve out more of their path can be really powerful. And there's always, extra courses that you can add on.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I love what you did because, it's so easy to look at people with, gigantic audiences. They have tons of influence. They speak on stages. Of course, it's easy to sell a course when you have, that large of an audience. And so I always tell people do surveys, but I love how you did your surveys is, you kind of borrowed different audiences and you surveyed that way. I think that's a fantastic, again, both or an and solution. It's not an either or. Well, I don't have a gigantic, audience of tens of thousands. No, you can still do the same homework just in a different way.
Right.
So you mentioned, you said a word that intrigues me, a collaboration. So talk about the power of collaboration and how you use it to leverage the course, maybe offer it to different groups or communities that you normally couldn't, or how do you collaborate with others to have a win-win?
Oh, that has been huge. And that was a lesson that I learned on my own entrepreneurial journey, is I am not just a solopreneur in this process. And I really do thrive on collaboration. For me, it's not so much the desire of ownership as much as I am wanting to get my message out there. And if I can do that better by partnering up with a company, then I'm going to look at that as an opportunity to spread it larger than what I can. So when I created this course, those are the first people that I went to was the full-time families community. And I knew that there were there's 28,000 people. It was not all 28,000 people on the road. There were a lot of dreamers. And the full-time community is at about right under 3,000 in that one group. And so I knew that this was a good fit for them. I started talking with them about it and also sharing a little bit about what else I do. And now I've become a start here for them. I have a free webinar. I have a course. I have a special landing page just for full-time families where I do one-on-one coaching to walk them through it. And we just now have announced that we're doing an RV family conference right at the beginning of a big rally in March of 2019. And I'm going to be hosting this live event to help walk people through that process in person. So I found all these opportunities to connect because now with the course, I had a tangible resource. I had something to say, hey, here's something that you can offer. And this can be a win-win because this can be an affiliate commission for you. So the affiliate aspect has been huge because then you're not just coming and saying, hey, can you please talk about my course and take the attention away from your business and focus on mine. But affiliates is such a great way because that is an extra stream of income for other people. And it's a great way to get started on your own. Looking at those affiliate options of what other things can you provide for your audience that may be products that you haven't yet developed where you can link arms with somebody else. Or you have a product and then you link arms with somebody who may have a better resource. I'm really excited. I've got a blog post that's going to be coming out in March on making sense of sense. And that website is, it's a very popular website and she has got a lot of activity and she will have blog posts with 1,000 comments as no big deal. And she's giving me the opportunity to share links and she's going to be an affiliate for the 90-day family road trip. And that's something that gets my little course out to a much, much larger audience and is a win-win because she's looking at it as A, she's getting an affiliate commission, and B, she didn't have to write that blog post.
Right. And I love that because it kind of levels the playing field, right? It again, you don't have to have this huge audience. You can partner with people that do, and you can leverage relationships. And the more you help and serve other people, the more it benefits everybody.
Right.
And I love that. I'm doing a master class coming up about marketing, and I have 45 plus marketing strategies to help market and promote online courses, and that's one of them is like those partnerships. And Some of it's an official affiliate type of thing, and some it's a little different. But yeah, I think people underutilize those. They try to put too much on their own shoulders with their course, and they just try to, unfortunately, bombard people with spam sometimes because that's all they're talking about. Whereas if they're kind of offering value across the board and in different channels, then it seems more palatable that way.
Definitely.
Yeah. So speaking of affiliates and all that, I do have an affiliate link for your course.
Yes.
And so if the audience wants to check that out at onlinecoursecoach.com/a road trip, they can learn more about that. Anything you want to say about that course or what they'll see there on that page?
Let's see, on the landing page for there, you get the opportunity to see a sneak preview, so you can actually see one of the short lessons, and it's bite-sized because I also recognize there are a lot of courses out there, and some courses are super lengthy, and most course creators know that not everybody's going to go through the courses. Not everybody's going to go through and finish every course and everything else, and so sometimes there's merit in, again, that less is more, doing something that is short and sweet. My course, if you were to cram all of it and you were to sit down and do the whole thing, you could complete the whole course in 3 hours.
Nice.
It's broken up into short modules that are anywhere from 2 minutes to, I have one that's 17 minutes, but most of them are around 2 to 5 minutes long. And so they're short and to the point, and then give you some extra resources to go along with it, with a few bonus things, like my favorite being the FAQs that my husband and I do, where you get to hear everything, like what about intimacy on the road? And there's little questions that everybody wants to know, but sometimes are afraid to ask.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Broke my train of thought there. So let me gather my thoughts here. I'm pausing the recording here, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'd love to also comment just about in creating a course, how understanding your strengths. If you want me to bring that up, I can talk about that and not taking on every aspect of it.
Okay, yeah. Well, the thing I was going to say was about the length of your course. I love, because I kind of dove in there and checked out a couple modules. So I do want to say something and commend you for that. And then let me snap for my editor here. So I love what you said about the length of the content. I think as experts or people that we have a lot of experience, we do want to just dump everything in. I'm auditing a course for somebody, and man, it is so long. And so, I mean, each video is 20 to 40 minutes, and it's just overwhelming, even to me. Mm-hmm. So I think there's more value in a short, concise, powerful course than this big, epic thing that takes you forever, because it's just going to demoralize people. So like I said, I think the value is not, like, nobody ever says, oh, you should buy my course because it's X amount of minutes or hours long. No, it's like, here's the takeaways, the value. And man, I'd rather pay for a shorter course that gets me there than a longer course that I probably won't finish.
Right.
So,
right. And that does end up being it's just put on the back burner because it's so long, you don't end up getting to it at all. So it'd be better to invest your money on something that you're actually going to commit to following through with. And 3 hours is pretty bite-sized. So if you can do dinner and a movie, you can do the course. Exactly.
And I think that's liberating to course creators, because I've talked with so many that they do feel like they have to dump their whole life's knowledge into their course. And it's like, no, like, think of it almost in college. Like, what's a 101 course you could create for the basic entry level? And then, hey, if people love that, let's graduate to the, sophomore class and go from there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So kind of lastly, I know you are very knowledgeable and experienced with different personality types and profiles. And so how does that fit into maybe your course or your lifestyle and what you're doing?
Oh man, it fits into everything. It has been the foundation of all I do, and I've lived and breathed it my whole life due to who my father is, and he uses it with all of his coaching clients, and I do as well, where we do personality assessments, and it's not to be a label or an identifier of I am what I am. It's simply to open the door to self-awareness and to start the conversation. There is no right or wrong. It's, does this resonate? Do you recognize this as a strength? And when I'm working with couples, it helps so much in communication and motivation. And when you're looking at launching, you have somebody that really craves security. How are they going to have that? And people say, my spouse isn't on board, they're an introvert, they crave security. And I'm like, what better way to travel than taking your home everywhere you go?
Right. Yeah.
So, but when it comes to even on the aspect of creating a course, when you understand what your strengths are, then you can more effectively deliver what it is that you want to do. Because oftentimes in the entrepreneurial world, the biggest recipe for failure is when you try to take on every hat in the company. And when you're building your business, and I know when you're starting out, you're bootstrapping it, you're trying to do it all. But if you're not a tech head and you are getting overwhelmed, I have seen people time and time again that are so caught up in making their website perfect and figuring it out, getting so mired up by the technical details, whether that's building a course or just building their website to begin with, that they have failure to launch. They can't ever do it. And quite honestly, by the time they actually do figure it out, there's a new update and there's some glitch that's not going to
Yeah.
And so, there are these things where they get mired up in the details, whether it's that or whether it's bookkeeping or really struggling with the marketing aspect. And there are so many hats that go into building a business and building a course. And when you can recognize what your strengths are and work in that, and then outsource the others, collaborate, allow other people to come in and to work in their own strengths, you end up with a more powerful product. And when I was doing the course, the reason why I chose to not do a course is because I did not want to be the videographer. I did not want to do the video editing. That part was really overwhelming to me. And so when I worked with this other company, I showed up for 2 days. I had read everything from a teleprompter,
Nice.
And it was like, I'd wing it, and then he'd just go ahead and modify the thing. And I'd say, oh, I'm going to add this in here, and we'd do that, and I'd modify it. And it was so, I think it went so smoothly because I had the power of a team. I had other people that were handling the lighting and the sound and the teleprompter and the script and coaching me on some things to say and ways to work it and to keep it short and sweet. All of those things helped to deliver a better product because I wasn't trying to take on every task myself. And that's really important to recognize, is it's better to be, to thrive in your strengths than to be jack of all trades, master of none.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, so I've been in business since 2003, and I had a business partner for many of those years, but where my business really skyrocketed and succeeded more was when I kind of stepped back and said, you know what, I can do a lot, but I don't need to do everything, and I shouldn't do everything. And in the last year or two, I've even been trying to replace myself with people that can do what I can do better, faster, and cheaper. And I've seen growth because of that. So yeah, I think as entrepreneurs, a lot of times we do want to have that control. I mean, I still really struggle with that, or think, I could just do this really quickly, and why should I have somebody else do it? But it builds up, and especially if there are blind spots or skill gaps that we all have, it just doesn't make sense. Like you said, to sit in front of a computer to build a website if that's not your thing. So I'm so glad you brought that up, because we all struggle with that, and it's a good reminder. That could be a whole different podcast episode at some point. But yeah. Well, Ashley, I really appreciate you being on the show here today. I've been looking forward to this for a while, just knowing your background and your travel and all that. And then icing on the cake, we got to talk about the course as well. So thank you so much for being on the Online Course Coach podcast today.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Perfect. Yeah. Very cool.
Was I okay? I just got a pop-up that said poor network connection. Did I start cutting out at all? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear that at all as far as cutting in and out. Yeah.
Good. I made it through 2 live ones today.
It's a Christmas miracle. Oh.
Yes.
So how familiar are you with like downtown Siesta Key?
Not so much.
Oh, okay.
We're here for a while.
Okay.
By the way, I have 15 text messages from my family during that call.
Oh, no.
15.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had it before where I look down and I'm like, I'm on an interview and I have 52 messages. We've got a group text with my brothers and my parents, and yeah, they're going crazy right now.
Well,
no, I'm not that familiar with Siesta Key other than we do the drum circle. So we know drum
nice.
circles at Nokomis Beach and Siesta Key. But yeah. What suggestions do you have?
Well, it's funny you mentioned the drum circle. I have family that lives on Siesta Key, so we go there a couple times a year. In fact, I was just there for Thanksgiving, and I was like, I need to see if Ashley's been to the drum circle, because it's a little too hippie-ish and free-spirited for me, but like my wife loves it, and I'm like, I bet Ashley loves it. I don't know. I just.
Oh yeah, Siesta Key is definitely more extreme than Nokomis. Did you ever go to the Nokomis Beach one?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's a little bit more tame. Yeah, Siesta Key, you get more of the party crowd, and yeah, you've got a lot of other things going on at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more wild. I love it because they have the sand sculptures too, so it's just really cool to go and see the sand sculptures that they do. But Nokomis has one that's a little bit more. It's a little bit older. There's you've got a lot of the older crew. Yeah, you're good. So. And also my mother-in-law. The kids are about to get in the car, but I'm pretty certain she got us a sound drum for Christmas. So I'm excited about bringing that. She was very eager for us to open our gift early so we could use it at the drum circle.
Nice.
So we're going to pick that up next.
Oh, cool. Well, I consider myself an ice cream connoisseur. I don't know what that means, but there's an ice cream place called Big Olaf's in downtown Siesta Key, and it's one of my favorites, kind of anywhere. Type of thing. So if you're an ice cream fan, check it out. I mean, you may like it, you may not, because there's other ice cream options there. But every time we're in Siesta Key, I try to eat there, like, I don't know, every night at least, or twice a day if I can, because I'm a pig. But
nice.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
I know, right?
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, I'll check it out. Yeah. The kids love a treat. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, say hi to Nathan there, and I'm jealous of what you guys are doing, and excited for. I like seeing the updates and different things, and.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, yeah, and let me know when it airs, and I'll be sure to share it in my circles and everything as well too.
That sounds cool. All right, Ashley. Thanks again so much.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Ashley as much as I did. Don't forget to sign up for that webinar at onlinecoursecoach.com/road trip webinar. That's all one word, road trip webinar. Or if you're interested in her course, which I've gone through, it's really exciting. You can go to that through onlinecoursecoach.com/road trip, all one word, and learn more about that. Well, I learned a lot as I talked to her, and it helped that I knew her. She has so many strengths, and we talked about just some of those in the episode. She obviously has a podcast and coaching and other things that she is able to serve other people with, and does a fantastic job in that. So whether you're interested in full-time travel or not, I know this was a valuable interview with Ashley. All right, well, what are you doing in your course? What are you doing to move the process further? I know it can be overwhelming, whether it's the technology, building your audience to find students who will pay for your courses, creating an effective course, marketing. I mean, there's so many aspects, but really, let's keep it simple. It's really just about teaching people, finding a few students, teaching them, and repeating that process. So please don't get overwhelmed. Please just move ahead. Do what I do. Sometimes I create like a 90-day action plan where I have different mile markers, to-dos, projects, etc., with a course or a project, and I move it forward with that. Now, honestly, it can be overwhelming if you do it yourself. And that's why I've been offering the master classes, especially that one about how to outsource your course, how to market your course, and some of those others. So go to that onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass to check that out. And also the group coaching. You don't have to do it alone. I can teach you. I can show you. That is what this process is all about. I mean, imagine if you could, in this very year, finally create your online course. I meet a lot of people who say, oh yeah, I've been trying to create a course or planning on a course, or yeah, I just kind of threw one up there and I don't have any sales or I haven't really helped anybody. I mean, really, do you just want to throw up a course and not really do anything with it? Or do you want to create an effective course? So make this year be the year that you create your course, that you are able to create something that you can leverage, that you can sell when you're not working, that you can use it as a tool, as a resource, and I would love to help you get there. So go to the website, whether it's one-on-one coaching, group coaching, the master classes, or these free podcasts, obviously, or the free videos or the free resources. I'm here to help. Just let me know what works best for you. I know as well as you do, there's only so much you can do with free content. Sometimes you need that accountability. You need that group aspect or that community that can help you kind of, kick into gear, right? So don't be afraid to do those. All right, well, keep listening to the podcast. I appreciate those of you that have left a review at onlinecoursecoach.com/reviews. And if you haven't done that, you can leave a review. And, let me know how I can help you. I'm always here to help. I love some of the emails that you've sent on what you're working on, what you're struggling with, and how I can help. So you can send those in as well. Well, hey, keep coming back to these episodes. Keep learning, keep sharing these. It's fun to see the progress that so many of you are having. It is really my goal to help you to impact many. All right, I'm going to redo that ending. So keep coming back to the show because, as you know, it is my goal to help you to teach many so you can impact millions.